Hey guys, Zoochz here, back with another installment of my replay review series. This one is a little different. It is a Gauntlet review, and for that I actually am sort of looking at the deck list here because, I don't know, it's a little more important for my analysis to understand what's in a Gauntlet deck because I sort of have a good idea of what's in a constructed deck already. The one thing to note about this Gauntlet deck is that it's not exactly complete. The deck actually has 4 saber spine tigers, so we might be seeing a lot of tigers in this match. Anyway, let's see how it goes. I'm not, certain how a Gauntlet analysis will work because it's a lot harder to predict what your opponent could have. That having been said, I really like Gauntlet, so I don't know. Maybe this will be a thing moving forward. All right. So this is the opening hand. Already, I think I would immediately throw back Void Pulse. This is a card that, in my opinion, is not something you really want in your Gauntlet deck. It doesn't provide any direct impact on the board. You could, I guess, potentially destroy an artifact, but other than that, I mean, this is a card that you want to draw either never or right at the end of the game when the 3 health is really going to matter or the 2 damage is going to be lethal. I'd also probably throw back the Shatter Soul Pact. This is a card that probably gets better as the game goes on, but you don't really want it in your opening hand. Unless you have sort of the possibility of a really early lethal, which with Flame Blood and at least 1 Tiger might be possible. I think I'd still probably toss it back. Let's see what happens. Ghost Links is probably also not a card you really need, but it's a 2-drop early on, so let's just speed this up just a little bit. All right. There we go. Throws back Tiger. Well, okay. Good. All right. He ended up throwing back the cards that I would have suggested, so I'm happy about that so far. And you got another 2-drop, and now the question is, which 2-drop are we going to play? I don't think I would run out Ghost Links for a couple reasons. First, probably will throw back Ghost Links. It's pretty weak in general, and the effect is sort of like wonky in a bad way. Like, you don't exactly know what's going to happen, so you can't really plan around it at all. Which one of these are we going to lead off with, presuming that we don't hit another 2-drop? Either is fine, frankly. I think I'd probably lead off with this because it's a little harder to remove. And, next turn you can play another 2-drop and one of these tigers. So, I mean, this wouldn't be... Sorry. Also, one thing to note is this deck has 3 Right of the Undervaults, which is probably 2 Right of the Undervaults too many. Maybe 1, but it's a lot of Right of the Undervaults. So he's got a really low curve, which is good. And hopefully we can really use this to maximize max effectiveness. I probably would have thrown back the Ghost Links, personally, because Tiger is a removal spell. If you just think of it as a 3-mana Phoenix Fire, right? That's pretty solid, right? I'd still keep that because if your opponent plays like, a Windrunner or a Venom Toth or a, some other obnoxious minion that you want to get rid of that has 3 health, this is a great way to do it, right? It also is awesome if your opponent plays a 1 attack creature, so then you can play this, deal 3 damage, and then still have a 3/1 on the board. I probably would have kept it. I probably would have thrown back the Ghost Links, but regardless, we'll move forward. So again, I think I'd probably play this, but either one of these is fine. I probably would not play the Ghost Links, sort of hoping to replace it. He juked me. All right. Okay, he plays the Asher Horn Shaman. Cool. I'm not going to put on real time. This is taking us a little too long. Okay. So our opponent plays a Jaxi. Perfect. We get to snipe that with the Tiger. And let's see. Pause. Okay. So what do we do now? What do we do now? I'm not going to lie. I think you have to kill that Pyromancer. But what else? One thing you could do if you were really trying to get lucky. Try. That's okay, buddy. Sorry, I've got a puppy. One thing you could do, try to ghost links your Azure Horn Shaman. So if Azure Horn Shaman ends up on any of these spots or any of these two spots right here, you get to snipe this Pyromancer. So, I mean, if you do quick math, that's 8, 9, 10, 11, plus 8 more, 19. There's 45 total spots minus 5, so there's 40 spots. So you have about a 50% chance. Actually, you're putting this down, so I think you have a 50% chance of sniping his Pyromancer with this Ghost Links, which frankly is about the best possible use of Ghost Links that I could think of, right? You could try to get a little cutesy by, attacking the mini jacks with your Lilith to try to, get the spawn over here to get one more spot where it could land. Probably wouldn't do that. It's so annoying because I don't want to I want to ping off the mini jacks and get this. I mean, honestly, the Pyromancer is the bigger threat at this point. You can kill the Jaxie next turn. I would personally, I really want to try to. I would YOLO the Ghost Links onto the Azure Horn Shaman to try to see if I could get it. But it'll say we don't want to do that, right? I think the next obvious thing is Saber Spine the Pyromancer. I would probably try to Azure Horn Shaman the Jaxie, and then you have a 50% chance of getting the spawn over here to kill it. Is there any way we can use any of the mana? Since there are 3 right at the Undervaults, I'd probably throw one of these back, or throw this back. Like, you really want to draw this late. You don't need to draw this early. Man, I'm just going way too long. Just let the game play, please, Zoochz. All right. That was a great card to have gotten. That was incredible. What a good card to have gotten. Right? Because now you can come forward, kill the Jaxie, maul the Pyromancer, and then you still have that 50% chance to get the spawn. I would probably play the Flameblood Warlock prior to playing them all, because you're going to want to, get out. Well, I would come forward, attack, see where the mini jack spawns, right? And then you can make the decision of where to play, if you want to play the Flameblood Warlock or not. Because if you can't kill it with your general, then you don't really want to play out a 3-1 that's just going to die. But if you can, you'd want to play the Flameblood, kill that, and then go snipe the mini jacks. Let's just see what happens. I probably wouldn't have gotten rid of the Saberspine Tiger again. All right. So it's a moot point because it spawned over here. But if you use your Azure Horn Shaman to kill the mini jacks before you move your general, you have a better chance of being able to kill it. See, right now, with attacking it with your general, you have only one corner in which you could kill it. If it spawned here, you could kill it with your Azure Horn Shaman. Whereas if you had left your general back, you had 2. Also, if it had spawned back here, you would have like a weird Sophie's Choice where you'd have to decide, do I want to go kill this mini jacks or do I want to come up and maul this? So luckily that didn't happen, but yeah, I think right now I just play them all and call it a day. All right, that looks like you did that. All right, probably wouldn't have attacked there. There's really no reason to, and more importantly, if he has any sort of buff for this mini jacks, he gets to negate your Azure Horn Shaman entirely. So let's say he has like Science First Wish, right? He can pump this, shoot Maw, and then kill your Azure Horn Shaman. And then you don't get the like +4 health for the minions. That's important because, if let's say he does have the pump, and you keep this as a 1/4, he can either, he could kill them all, but then he can't kill this. So then what does he do with his general attack? Does he attack it? And if he does that, then you can, proc it whenever you want on your turn. I think that this might end up being a a problem if he has some sort of pump spell for this. Or all right, well that was a mistake, I think. Tethermancer, okay. All right, well it kind of seems like a moot point because he played Tethermancer, so the +4 health probably won't matter. I mean, that's not quite true. You're going to be able to Ghost Links the Tethermancer away, and then Saber Spine Tiger this Mini Jack, so I'm pretty happy about this series of plays. Oh, can you? I actually don't know if you can do both of those. Yeah, you can. That is so funny. So it went in one of the like 6 other spots that wouldn't let you move your general to get the Mana Spring, which is what you absolutely had to do. Oh man, that stinks. Oh well, sometimes that happens. All right, so what do you do in this scenario? Well, I would come forward and then I guess throw this out there, or maybe just use your hero power because at this point, like, you know, you're gonna end up losing one of your 2/1s anyway. So I might as well throw out a bunch of other X1s. That was really bad luck. Like if that hadn't happened, you could have moved your general down here, played the tiger, come forward and killed it. But hey, whatever. All right. God, what was such a bad random. That's the exact reason why I hate Ghost Links. Right. Well, that's a nice move because now you can kill this with your tiger if you really want to. I think I'd still throw back right to the Undervault. You have 3 of these. There's a high chance that you will draw this card again. Alright. Dialysis comes down. And then we get to... He didn't use Shadow Spawn, so... I like this play. This is fine. I think I probably would have thrown back the Red to the Undervault to see what I could get. Because if you can Saber Spine to kill this, that's such value. And then if you hit another 2-drop, that would have been great. This is a fine play. And I guess I get why you don't Shadow Spawn there, because you don't want the Sojourner to get an extra card. So I'm also fine with that. So kudos there. Starfire Scarab. That is frightening. Alright, how do we beat Starfire Scarab? So one thing to note is, and I went a little fast last turn, but okay, so last turn we could have Shadow Spawned and we did not. I had thought, oh, you know, if we Shadow Spawn, he can just attack it with one of his, attack one with the Sojourner and then essentially get an extra card. But he can still attack you, which is exactly what he did. And you're still going to have to, like, smash in with Dialthus, right? To clear it without giving him an additional card. And so the reason this matters, I think, is hypothetically, if you had ended up with one extra Wraithling on the board, which probably wouldn't have happened because of the mini jacks, you could have Saber Spine Tiger with Deathfire Crescendo to kill this thing. Chai, stop. Come here. Alright, I definitely think we have to get rid of something here because we're not going to be able to clear this right now in any sort of effective way. I think I'm going to wait to see what we get. Okay. So, Blood Siren is fine. It lets us kill the Sojourner without giving it without letting him draw a card. I would probably, honestly, Blood Siren this, kill it, Saber Spine attack, and then Shadow Spawn. Probably not in that order, but do it in some. Like I'd probably come forward here, Shadow Spawn, to sort of protect the mana tile. Hopefully you don't end up accidentally taking it. And then doing all of our plays on different rows of the board so that Starfire Scarab has like the least ability to blow us out. Deathfire Crescendo that. I don't understand why that is happening. I also don't understand that attack either. Alright, let's see what happens. So, I think... I don't know as if I would have used that Deathfire Crescendo right there. You're not really getting value out of it, because let's say, I mean, if he has a silence, then you just like lose the game right here, right? If he has any sort of pump spell, that's incredible, because then he can like pump this and kill your Dialtus, and then you've got like an O10, but an O10 doesn't really do anything in your deck. You could also have used this to prevent the draw from the Sojourner, which seems like a really good play. And that basically says, you know, don't take a damage this turn and draw a card. So this seems like it would have been a really solid play that turn. But let's keep going. And you've also set yourself up, by the way, to get blasted. So if this was going to be your series of plays, I think I would have come up here with the Dialtus and attack. Also, I'm not sure why you attacked the General there. There was really no need to. I'm not so sure that you're winning this race. So, like, he has 6 power on the board. 8 power, actually. He has 6 cards in his hand. It's not unrealistic to think that he could have, like, 8 powers of burst and the 6 cards in his hand. Or something, like, who knows? Yep. Yeah, so he had a silence, which ended up basically meaning that your Deathfire Crescendo did nothing. And then the fact that he could blast it and you in the same plane meant that he essentially got like 4 extra points of damage. I mean, and if you just put it up here, he couldn't have even blasted it either. So I'm not sure where to go from here. I'll point out, by the way, that like I had sort of encouraged replacing this the entirety of the game, and now you've had this in your hand for I think 4 turns now, and you've never cast it. So it's sort of, this represents a lot of potential card draw, but in actuality, all it's done in this entire game is mean you've had 1 less card the whole time, because you weren't going to cast this until you were getting like at least 3 or 4 cards from it, which you're not going to do until you hit 9 mana. Okay, so with our hand here, I think it's pretty clear that you Dark Transform this, and then probably Blood Siren this to kill it. I would probably not replace this at this point, because you're going to have very few cards, but I don't know. I'm not sure how we win this game from here. Okay. You moved away from the from the Ephemeral Shroud. I don't know as if I would have done that. I would have tried to have cleared this for free. Because now, yeah. Now you are dead. All he needed was 1 removal spell. Okay, well, so I think that sort of illustrates my point. You had that right in your hand for almost the beginning of the game, and you never cast it, and there was never a good time to cast it. I think that you could have, like, the biggest issue I saw is that you could have replaced that at any point in time to sort of have another card, which seems like it, may have turned the tides, may have not. I really disliked the Deathfire Crescendo play because it didn't really add anything, right? And you could have saved that, especially since you have 4 Tigers. You could save that for like an OTK plan, like play a Tiger, Deathfire Crescendo it, trade off a bunch of minions with your opponent's minions, then kill your opponent. In any case, I don't know. I think that there were some, not mistakes per se, but definitely things that I would have done different. I would have kept a lot of the Tigers in my hand, like especially Gauntlet. If you just think of them as like 3 mana, 3-point removal spells, that's a fine card to have, right? Especially when you can, cast stuff like Deathfire Crescendo on them, or use Primus Fist, or pick off mini Jaxes and have a body. So at the end of the day, the deck looks really solid. You've clearly done well with it though so far. But I would hesitate to keep Rights in my hand for that long, and I generally would not use a Deathfire Crescendo unless I were getting a lot of damage on the general or clearing the board. All right, thanks for watching, and if you guys are interested in participating, feel free to click on the link below for how to submit a replay review.